Oh, should I move over? Okay. My bright orange. You can see. I'm like a street person, on the highway. You won't hit me. I got my bright orange. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. We are doing a little different gathering today. We have a lot of folks who are not well, and we have the rest of us who have croaky voices and sniffles and snuffles and all the things, but we'll do our best together. We have Mary with us today, and we're gonna do some music and meditation along with we'll sing a little bit, but I feel like a lot of us have tired voices. So, hello, Carolyn. So glad to see you. Your birthday was the 30th. Well, happy birthday. Oh, no drumming with pretty nails. It's okay. We're kind of doing a different thing today, Carolyn, because a lot of folks are sick, so they can't come. The rest of us have croaky voices because we're fighting it. And so we're just going to enjoy being together. Yes. Um, Mary has agreed to play some music for us to help us just relax and reflect. And I brought something to help us reflect a little bit as well. So thank you for being with us. And um, we'll begin. I would like to begin. Why don't we begin with, um, why don't we, maybe we'll sing in between things, we'll sing a little. So let's sing Jesus Loves Me. I have to find the page. Just to bring us all together. 70, thank you. I hope none of you have been outside, but if you have, it's the kind of cold that hurts your face. Page 70. Thank you. Yeah, let's sing Jesus Loves Me. Who does Jesus love? Absolutely. Page 70. Beautiful. Small but mighty this morning. And let's turn and wave to our friends on TV because we have lots of friends watching us. because they can't come down, but we are thinking of all of you as you try to get healthy and strong. And so we can get back together again because we're at our best when we're together, right? Right. Mary, do you have a song that you'd like to start us out with today? I don't know. Oh, okay. It's gonna be a little music and meditation, and we'll sing a little bit. We seem to all have little frogs, and so, yes, they are. And Mary's has a selection of music that she's prepared that is quite beautiful. So, which one do you think you'll start with today? Be Thou My Vision. So we can just sit and listen and relax. Yes, if you want to sing, you sure. Beautiful. In between our lovely music, I wanted to share a little excerpt from this book called On the Brink of Everything. It's by Parker Palmer. He's an educator and has written a lot about education, but on this in this book he writes about aging and saging and all the things as we grow older. On March 2015, I read an essay by my friend and colleague Courtney Martin called Reuniting with Awe. It painted an exquisite picture of how her 16-month-old daughter, Maya, helps her see life's wonders through a toddler's eyes. I was mesmerized by Courtney's opening line. My daughter is on the brink of everything. That's exactly where I am today at age 79. I am frequently awestruck as I stand on the brink of the rest of my life, including the part called death, which I sometimes think I can almost see from here. I'd be lying if I claimed to be awed by all that comes with old age. Courtney wrote about Maya scooping haphazard little bits of cottage cheese into her mouth, then applauding herself between bites. Do you remember those days for the kids? My mealtime misdemeanors do not merit applause. At dinner last night, my wife grinned, pointed to her chin, and said, "You've got food on your face." Reaching for a napkin, I grumped. I was saving it for a snack. Courtney reported that when she takes Maya out for a walk, Maya bounces with the delight of freedom and quickly swivels around to make sure her mom is following. If I bounced and swiveled, I'd need to see my doctor about repairing some mission-critical body parts. Speaking of my doctor, like many people my age, I live with a couple of ongoing challenges to my health. They pose no immediate threat to my life, but it gives you pause when you start meeting more frequently with specialists, especially as you watch family members and friends and colleagues fall ill and die. And yet it's because of the diminishments of age, not in spite of them, that I often find myself in awe as I stand on the brink of everything. The morning Courtney's essay was published online, I began my day by waking up, an event worthy of celebration in itself. I paused on the edge of my bed to check my balance and gather my wits, and I then followed a well-worn path to a small room I visit a couple of times a night. It was a hard, frozen winter day in my part of the world, and the east-facing window was filigreed with ice, kind of like today. Beyond the bare trees, the horizon glowed with a crimson sunrise that, viewed through the tracery of ice, turned the window pane into stained glass. I stood there for a couple of minutes, taking in the scene as if I were contemplating one of the great rose windows of Chartreuse Cathedral. I went downstairs and I turned up the thermostat and I began heating water for coffee. I reread a handwritten letter that had arrived the day before, thanking me for a book I published when I was in my early 60s. What you wrote about your experience of depression, said my correspondent, helped save my life. As I laid the letter down, I thought back on all the early mornings when, in my haste to get back to my writing, I'd failed to pause for even a few minutes to take in the loveliness of an awakening world. I've long been an obsessive writer, and before age slowed me down, my impatience about hitting the keyboard kept me from seeing the beauty around me. Part of me regrets that, and yet back in the day, focused laser-like on surveying and mapping what's in here while ignoring what's out the window, I wrote something that helped a stranger find new life. Looking back, I'm awed by the way that embracing everything from what I got right to what I got wrong invites the grace of wholeness. You need only claim the events of your life to make yourself yours. When you truly possess all you have been and done, you are fierce with reality. And I love that phrase because that's what I feel like when I'm here with all of you. You are fierce with reality. Nobody messes with my folks here, right, Angie? Fierce with reality is how I feel when I'm able to say, I am that to which I gave short shrift and that to which I attended. I am my descents into darkness and my rising again into the light, my betrayals and my fidelities, my failures and my successes. I am my ignorance and my insight, my doubts and my convictions, my fears and my hopes. Wholeness does not mean perfection. And so often in our lives, we are led to believe that. We are led to think that being perfect, being whole, is the same thing, right? Wholeness does not mean perfection. It means embracing brokenness as an integral part of life. I am grateful for this truth as age led me to look back on the zigzagging, the up and down path I have hacked out of my life during my far from perfect life. Every hour, I am closer to death than I was the hour before. All of us draws closer all the time, but rarely with the acute awareness that comes when old age or calamity reminds us of where we stand. It's those shocking moments, right, that remind us of where we truly stand. Otherwise, we kind of think we got it all together, right, Carolyn? I've watched one loved one die in anguish, another in peace. How I will travel that last mile is anyone's guess. What I know for sure is this: we come from mystery and we return to mystery. I know this too, standing closest to the reality of death awakens my wonder at the many gifts. On the morning I read Courtney's essay, those gifts were numerous. I saw the world as sunrise through my own rose window. I read a stranger's generous letter. I had the physical and mental capacity to make it down the stairs, brew coffee, and go back to my office. Courtney says that her daughter approaches the world with only one giant, indiscriminate expectation. Remember, she's little. 4. Delight me. She comes into the world every day to every experience and expects to be delighted. Like Maya, I want to approach the world with only one expectation as I close in on my 80th year, because I'm old enough to know that the world can delight me. My expectation is not of the world, but of myself. You got it, Carolyn. Delight in the gift of life and be grateful. Thought that was such a beautiful reflection on the gifts that all of you have in your experiences and your walk on this earth. Something that I stand in awe before, and I know Angie the same. It's a privilege to walk with you and to also be with you, and I'm so glad that you expect if you do delight. It sets the bar high for all of us around you. Great. What piece will you play for us now, Mary? We sure do, right? As we expect to be delighted, we need God every hour. As we listened to Parker Palmer's writing, one of the things he said was, "Can he talked about because of these diminishments of age, not in spite of them, I find myself in awe." Awe is kind of one of those words we don't use a lot in this common culture that we have. They'll say cool or they're slang all over the place for what awe means, but we know what awe means. Awe is something that is almost we can hardly explain it. Can you think of something in your life that gave you an experience of awe? Can you think of a time when you might have described yourself as awestruck? Something come to mind. You're thinking, and Angie and Mary too, if you think of something that comes to mind, there's so many moments, right? But I remember when I had my first child and I looked at her and there weren't really words to describe how I felt when I looked at her. And it was combined with awe, like, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. She is so beautiful. And what have I done? Because I'm responsible, for this beautiful gift. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Sure. Oh. In case you can't hear, Mary's talking about how she had listened to a piece of music. And music does do that for us. She talked about the child had grown as a way of talking about Jesus' life and birth and then she describes the tenor section coming in and how it almost makes your heart stop sometimes when you listen to music because it's so amazing. And can make us cry. It can make us our chest pound. Music is very powerful. Yep. Oh, yeah. 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 Oh my gosh. Other moments of awe that you have known or seen. Oh, oh. When Carolyn's daughter took a first step toward her, you were claimed, right? There's something special about that. Yeah. And now she keeps walking towards you over and over. Yeah, that is such a amazing thing that they claim you as yours. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting teary. Other things that have caught you by awe. Okay. Angie's sharing that her first plane ride was so awesome because she could see the world from another perspective and see the beauty. Yeah. And that it's more dimensions than we can know, right? Sometimes we think what we see is what there is, and then we do something like that. Any others? Yes? Oh, that is so beautiful. Sharing about the gifts that everyone, you find it awesome that people have so many different gifts. And she was relating to you, Mary, of your gift that you bring. And it is something when we see people who have gifts and talents that we don't have. And it is amazing. And to think that God makes us all so uniquely and that we all have different ways of being. Yeah. Any other thoughts of awe? I appreciate, and I imagine even if you're not saying, there's things going through your mind, and that's wonderful too to recollect the awe that you have known. Um, it's good to remember that, and it's good to feel that in our hearts too. So I have next for us, Mary. Oh, I know whom I have believed. I don't know that one. No, no, but please. It's good. It opens up our worlds, right? Oh, yes. Oh, thank you, Mary. So beautiful. So, is there a song you would like to sing out of the songbook today? One of your very favorites? Lorraine? You know, you like um, 73. 73. That's a favorite. Oh, can we just go straight through or okay. All right. Just so we don't lose our place and also save our voices a little. Page 73. Yeah, we'll just go straight through. Yep. Just a closer walk with thee. And if you can't sing, you can sway, right? Thank you. Parker Palmer wrote a little bit about grace, and we talk a lot about that in church too, right? That's the gift of forgiveness, grace, and salvation for all of the things that we didn't do so well, right? The things we left undone and the things we should have did, right? Part of grace that Palmer points out is when looking back at our lives to make sure that we embrace everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what we get right and what we got wrong. To embrace that as part of our wholeness because it is who we are. And even the things that we feel bad about, hopefully we have learned from. And they have shaped us to live differently in the future. And the things that we feel really good about should be celebrated and given thanks for. So he talked about that as that we are fierce. As we grow older, we become fierce with reality. And we talked about how we like that because our elders here are fierce in who they are and what they believe and have definitely earned that privilege, that right, and that responsibility from their life's journey. So as you look back, I'm curious to hear how you think about you might be fierce. How would you say that you know a little bit about fierceness? I guess that's not really a word. Fierceness or fierce living. And Angie and Mary can share too. How have you learned to be fierce as you've grown older? How have you learned? As you're thinking, I'm thinking about. I grew up as a people pleaser. I grew up in a household. I had a German father, so you did as you were told, and there was no discussion. There was no explanation. And if I asked why, it was because I said so. Was the answer. So there was not a lot of negotiation in the house I grew up in, and so I think from that I learned to be a people pleaser, right? Because that was survival. If you made daddy happy, you were happy. So, um, not saying that's right, wrong, or the other, but it was the reality I grew up in. So when I went into the world as a young adult, I thought that was the way of it, to be a people pleaser. But of course, I learned many times the hard way that that did not serve me well, because people love people pleasers, but they also will happily make you their doormat, right? So that wasn't really working for me. So I would, if you were to ask me how I've learned to be more fierce as I've grown older, it has become being able to have my own voice, to say yes, to say no, to make choices and decisions um, that may not set well with others, but that I believe come from a thoughtful process. I'm not obstinate. I'm just certain at times about what I understand to be the truth or the right thing. And I consider that kind of fierce for me because of where I started. And I'm hoping it continues to grow. I look at Lorraine and Carolyn and Mary, and I'm hoping that I can grow in my fierceness and my wisdom, that I can continue to say my piece and hold my ground, because I see how much that matters to who we are. And it's for all of us, but it's especially for us as women, right? Since we've got a lot of women around the table this morning. That is true, right? So, yeah, yeah. Any ways you've known how to be fierce or had to be fierce? Okay, Carolyn's wisdom for us: don't back down. Get it? Yes, yes, yes. And as people who have wrestled with being minorities and all of those kinds of isms in our communities, you've learned that. That's very important. Don't back down. Stand strong in who you are. I also, borrowing from your grandmama, because you told me stories about how fierce she was and that she did that. Yeah. And I love to hear that because it reminds us. Yeah. 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 Mhm. Mary's saying similar. This is the way it is, that she had to learn. I'm just repeating for our TV folks so they can hear your wisdom, that she had to say this is the way it is, and not to be um, adversarial or argumentative or any of those kinds of things, but to just say it as a fact that this is the way it is for the situation that we are in. This is what I can give you. This is what it is, and what we're going to do. And it's okay that everyone wasn't happy about it. That wasn't your job to make everybody happy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Good, good for you, Mary. Others' thoughts about how you have learned to be fierce. Ah, yes. Lorraine says, also tell people you love them, show that you love them, right? That when you disagree with them, it doesn't mean you don't love them or like them. It it's just a different thought or opinion or right? Yes, and that's so important. In our country, we're so divided in our world. It's either if you don't think like me, then you're gone, right? That's how we treat each other. And we need to learn how to think that, okay, Lorraine thinks differently. She likes red and I like blue. It doesn't mean that I'm out, right? It just means we think differently and we can honor each other in that process. Yeah. Like, is it kind of like my mom used to say, you don't have to like each other, but you have to love each other? She'd say that when we were in an argument as kids. And we'd say, you might say, I hate, which we were never supposed to say. And then she'd say, I don't care. You don't have to like each other, but you do have to love each other. And I've taken that, too, with me into the world because, yeah, there's a lot of people you're just like, shake your head. Other thoughts? We have a lot of fierce people here, which I'm so glad for. And I'm glad if we can help sustain and thrive that and engage that for you. So if you think of other ways, you be sure and tell Angie about that. Tell her how you're fierce. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, like in Ecclesiastes, there's a time to speak and there's a time to keep silent, right? You just have to decide which one it is. Right. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yes, it is. It's wisdom. Right? Yeah. What would is there any another song anyone like to sing? All right, Jim. Thank you. America the Beautiful, page 9. Yes, Jim, you do. It's on you. Beautiful. Do we have other songs we wish we would sing this morning? Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, page 8. That was the one you wanted? The one you Okay, that's all right. We're just about finishing up. Um, Angie, anything that or Mary that you always like to sing? 107. Oh, that's a good one. 107. Sent forth by God's blessings. We'll sing that one and then maybe Mary will play one more piece as we make our way out. Mary arranged. Are you going to play the one you arranged or okay. Okay, I'm not okay. Okay, next time. Thank you. Mary's amazing. She's arranged music. It's just amazing. So 107 is sent forth by God's blessings. Woo! So beautiful. Do you know, I remember growing up in the church, and I always tell you about when I sat in the pew and my legs dangled because you all did that too, right? And because I was short and I was a kid, right? So you'd sit there and you'd wait for that long service to get done, and you go through all of the parts, and then we get to the end and they'd sing this song, and it's an uplifting song anyway, makes your heart happy, but it also made us so happy because we were done. That's not right for a pastor to say, but we were glad to go home. So it was a happy song. I really appreciate you all coming down today and having a time together, and being flexible and creative and resilient and fierce, right? Um, you are a beacon for all of us that are around you, and thank you for lighting the way for us. And we're grateful for God that points the way for all of us. So have a good lunch today, and then what do we have? Oh, we don't. Okay. we have time and reflection. I don't know. Uh, an afternoon. Yes. Yes. It's my unfortunate duty to share with you that Pokino will be canceled this afternoon. So, along with bingo tomorrow. I know. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but let's work really hard to get healthy and get everybody healthy, wealthy, and wise and back to our activities really soon because we miss each other. And for us, we know the days go longer when we don't have these little breaks. Hope you watched us today and enjoyed us. Everybody want to turn around and wave at everyone one more time? Say, we miss you. Get better. All right. And now Mary will play us on home.